Hi, I am Mohsen, and this is part 6 in Simon Fraser University's 6-part screencast on successful and ethical exam writing. In this final part, I will talk about open book and take-home exams. These exams often have short answer and essay questions, so I recommend that you also watch part 5 of this series on those format of questions, as well as part 1, which covers basic exam preparation strategies. In an open book exam, you are allowed to look at materials such as your notes and readings while you are writing your exam. If you think you can get away with studying less because it's open book and you can look up anything you don't know, you are in for a big surprise. Open book exams are typically designed with even more challenging questions, focus on discussing relationship between concepts and applying them to new examples. The sorts of questions that can't just be looked up. And typically, instructors make them long so that you won't have time to look up much that you don't remember. For that reason, you still need to prepare for answering practice questions from memory, ideally within a limited amount of time. If you write out the answer to your practice questions, have them nearby for the actual exam. Likely, you won't be able to copy entire answers because you need to pay attention to even minor differences in the question. But it's possible that parts of your practice answers will be relevant. Just make sure you are not copying anything word for word that is not a practice answer you have written. Plagiarism is still a concern. Make sure to clarify in advance with your instructor whether you need to provide citations in your answers and in what format. If you will need to provide citations, you also should practice doing so when answering your practice questions. For many open book tests, you can use any materials you want except for the assistance of another person. However, for some, you are limited to certain materials such as textbook and notes. No Googling or looking at Canvas modules. It is important to be 100% clear in advance on what you are allowed and to stick with those materials only. Also, although you should answer from memory as much as you can, you should also organize your materials in advance to make it easy to quickly look a few things up. It's useful to condense the information by writing summaries or making concept maps or comparison charts. Know the index and table of contents of books well. Make good use of highlighting and color coding different types of information. And if you are using hard copy textbooks or paper notes, use label post-it flags so you can turn directly to the page you need. Take-home exam is somewhat outdated name given to an open book exam that extends over a few days rather than over a few hours. Many of the tips are the same as for a regular open book exam, and you should expect even more challenging application and analysis questions. The time limit isn't such a factor, so knowing exactly where key information is in your materials isn't as crucial. However, you still have to do a lot of preparation in advance to know the material well enough to anticipate and practice with challenging high-level questions. For these extended exams, it is even more important to have a suitable ergonomic workspace. You will need to clear your schedule for those days in advance, as you wouldn't want to have 2 days of a 3-day exam taken up with shifts at work, for example. Also, plan for downtime or exercise each day and a healthy sleep. Even one of my colleagues wrote a 3-day take-home exam. She worked from about 9:30 in the morning to 5 with a lunch break and walk each day, then took time for family and dinner, went to the bed by 11, and was back at it the next day around 9:30. That's it for the whole successful and ethical exam writing series. I hope you have found the time you spent watching to be useful. For more information about exams, including open book and take home, click the orange Learning and Studying tile at the top of the SLC homepage. Why not take a few moments to write down 1 or 2 key strategies you are going to try for your next open book or take home exam? And please review your notes on strategies you are going to use from all the parts you watch in this series. If you are an SFU student wanting individualized support around your exams and or other aspects of academic work, I invite you to click on the pink tab on the side of the home page and book a free personalized consultation. All the best on your exams, and I hope you are going to get a relaxing break when they are done. Thank you for watching and good luck with your exams.